Thank you very much, and I want to acknowledge all present and all the partnership with METI and the Minister and Assistant Minister and Leah and the informal sector, and to everybody online. Thank you so much for joining us. We consider this occasion to be an important one. And to those online, before I even start, I'm hoping you will join with us in helping to implement the plan as we go forward. So you will be hearing more as I speak about the ask. So I would like to focus my few words on really focusing on the importance of the informal sector in Botswana and around the world. I want to talk a little bit about the size of the informal sector so that we get an appreciation of their value. I also want to talk about who they are. I always feel if you put a face to something, it's much more real and human. I want to talk a little bit about the impact of COVID, but I know it's going to be very, very brief. Then I want to get right in there and give some examples of what exactly they're facing and then UNDP support. I'll elaborate that at the end. So just to give a picture, around the world we have 2 billion workers out of the 7. That's the massive scale they are. That's equal to 61% of all workers around the world. And in sub-Saharan Africa, we have 92% of them are women, of workers, and 86 are women. So that's again the scale of it. Here in Botswana, according to the study, it shows that we have about 161,000 businesses, and they're employing 191,000. This is not a small number. 191,000 is not a small number. Just let me recap. If you look at the poverty numbers, we have 16.3. That translates to 380,000. So you can imagine if the 191,000 fall because of COVID and have no income, you can see what could happen to the poverty numbers. So I just want to put a scale and a context on it. Now, who are they? Let me start naming them. They are the various ones, including the farmer. They are the gardeners, the urban street vendors, and the market traders that we all buy off every day. There might be the lady doing the hairstyle on the side of the street, or the carpenters on the side of the street. They are those who pick up the waste. They are the domestic workers, the unpaid family workers, the migrant workers, as well as many platforms and gig workers. That's just an example of who they are. Now we have a sense of where we meet them every day. We don't tend to label them. We don't tend to identify them. But the moment we work and walk anywhere, we are engaging with the informal sector. So they are so important. Now, Botswana has given a definition to who they are. They are saying they are economic activities by workers and economic units that in law or in practice not covered or sufficiently not covered by formal arrangements. So what this means is they're not registered with SEPA and they're not registered for tax paying with BERS. But the new plan is saying, let's relook the new definition. So that's one of the actions in the plan, is to look at that definition. Let's also look at their importance to the economy. I've talked about numbers, but they provide 5.3% of the GDP. That's substantial. So, and they're also recognised in the ERTP as really somebody who can step up and really help the household resilience. So now, maybe I will talk a little bit about the COVID, what the COVID analysis showed. A lot of work was done by Leah together with METI and the study, because the plan has a part study and then the plan. It transpires they become the middle missing, or the missing middle, because the COVID plan of the government here talked to the formal and there was social protection for those in the vulnerable. So they were the missing middle layer. So they didn't have the kind of policy support, or view, or vision, neither on the economic as well. So this came out very clearly through that analysis. Now the idea is, how do we address that missing middle? So we are looking at, and I've just picked out 2 examples of their big issues. There are many. In the analysis they show there are many, but I just want to focus in on 2 because I think it's important. One is about their access to space where they work. We all go to the malls and we see many of them under a tree. That's their space for working. And some, they don't have access to a market to sell. I'm just picking out two. I know a lot has been done in Botswana about looking at, in the big malls, can we create a space in the malls for the informal sector? And how do we make sure we create access to the markets? So they're just two that I picked out as areas we can look at. Now the plan. The plan helps to address these issues, the two issues that I talk about and many more, including looking at a space, access and training. It provides policy direction. It provides economic opportunities. And in the plan, there is 2 overall goals with 11 objectives. And UNDP's support is about helping to implement, together with the Ministry, together with Leah, 6 of the 11 objectives. And we've got 2 million pula to immediately work on that. So we're quite excited. And to the viewers online, we need your help in supporting Leah and Miti on all the 11 objectives. So very specifically, what it is that we are helping in. The intention is that there will be a special informal sector unit established, either in Miti or in Leah. And we will provide an advisor to work to get that unit established. So that's one big area. A second big area we want to help is setting up and improving on the business intelligence system that already started as part of COVID. How to make sure the data is there. How do we get full numbers and so on? Because that will allow us to respond. That's the second area. The third area is to provide digital virtual spaces. Again, back to the issues. If the issue is space, how do we make virtual spaces available? And if there's an issue around access to markets, how do we make that available? Through lots of digital training and providing that cloud space. So we really want to help in that area. And the last one is, we want to feasibility study together with Leah and Miti around the possibility of a feasibility study for some kind of social insurance. We want to explore, is that possible? So they're the big 4 areas, but obviously there's many more. So I just want to conclude by saying we were honoured to work as UNDP with Miti and with Leah to give a voice to the missing middle. I think they can say today they're heard, they're valued, and this plan is about showing the roadmap in supporting their value. It is about helping them in terms of having a policy direction, helping them from the government side, from the private sector side, from the development partner side, and saying together we matter and you're part of a bigger picture. We value you and you are very important, and we are delighted to be part of the launch today. Thank you so much.